Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nations Radio Network and to the live stream show, Nature Adventures. Today is Wednesday. Yes, Wednesday, not Thursday, Wednesday. And it is September 19th. And so welcome to everybody who's in the chat.
Bonjour, everyone. Hi.
Oh, okay.
It's just me. It's just me. I thought I turned it off.
And here's Minnie, my co-host. Hi, Minnie.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. Thanks for being on the show.
Yeah, thanks, Minnie. What that was, just for somebody looking, maybe it's thinking it's their computer or whatever. What Minnie does for us is that she monitors the chat room from her phone, and so that she can make replies on, to you guys. And so her sound was just up is all on her phone. So it's not.
And Elise is watching. Hi, Elise. I see you.
Hi, Elise.
She says hi to both of you.
Oh, good. Well, and that's a good thing to remind people about is that this is what we're using is BeLive TV. And it is our partners, and it's a third-party app is what it's called. And we've been using, it's been a year. Can you believe that? We've been doing live streams for a year. And so BeLive TV is the app that helps us to do really kind of cool interviews and to do this kind of show where we have co-hosts and you can see us both at the same time in real time, right? But we also have the ability to show pictures and all kinds of stuff. But with the BeLive app is that unless you make a comment in the live chat, the person running the studio, I don't know you're there. That's why Minnie is taking a look and watching on her phone, is so that we know who's out there and if you guys are making comments or anything like that. Thank you, then. Hey, Elise. Hello. See, this is the stuff we can do really cool with BeLive. Here's Minnie's hello to everybody. And then here's Elise. Hello, Elise. Glad you're in the chat with us.
Yeah. And you found us in the afternoon show. New time, new place.
Yeah. And, Nature Adventures is a brand new show to begin with, right? And when Minnie and I sat down and we wanted to do a show together, but what is it that we really want to do? And the things that we have in common, right? And nature is one of those things that we have in common. And, Minnie, she travels a lot and she takes some really wonderful, really cool pictures. And so we get to share all of that with you and our different experiences that we have with nature. And just about a week ago, maybe 2 weeks ago, Minnie and I made the decision that we were going to move the show to a different day and a different time because it works better for both of us to move it to Wednesday and also to move the time to the afternoon. And
try something new.
Try something new, right? And with that, we kind of got the time zones thing kind of mixed up a little bit. So the show is going to be on Wednesdays, the third Wednesday of every month at 3 p.m. Eastern. Okay, I know today it's 4 p.m. Eastern, but next month you'll see us at 3 p.m. We'll remind you. Okay, we'll get the reminders out there and that sort of thing. And today's show is all about the sound of water. Minnie and I have done shows in the past under different names about sacred water, but we've never done one about sound of water. So Minnie, if you can share with everybody, how did we arrive at that? Because it was really your idea.
Well, for me, it was because I just spent the month out in Colorado and I'm taking a lot of hikes, and my favorite hikes in Rocky Mountain National Park are ones that follow rivers or streams. And they cross the streams with the little bridges, or you're jumping over a tiny little trickle. But the sound of water as you're walking, as you're hiking, it's so soothing and peaceful, and there's something about it that just takes me even deeper when I'm in the forest, when I'm walking and hiking, and I really love it. I love to take photographs of water, whether it's a lake or a puddle or a stream or a waterfall. And so, and Neshi and I just started talking about all the different sounds that water makes in all of her different ways. So I thought there's a lot to talk about here.
Yeah, there is. Let me change this. I was looking at, I was trying to try to play something for you guys, and it's on my desktop, and for the life of me, I can't find it right now. I'm going to try to find it though. And when we were talking about because we use those words in the promotion, right? And we were talking about how we don't normally consciously say, I'm going to talk about all the words that the sound that water makes. And we started that. And we came up with several, didn't we?
Yes.
And a lot of times what we do is we use the sound of water for a lot of different things. There's some people who have the sound machines, and they have the sound of different kinds of water, brooks, oceans, thunderstorms, to help them fall asleep, right? It's kind of like that white noise in the background that help people sleep.
Right.
There was a time when Minnie and I were in California together for a feng shui conference, and we were staying, I can't remember the name of that hotel, and our rooms was oceanside. Do you remember that?
Oh, in Monterey, yeah.
Monterey, yes. And it was cool. It was very cool. Loved the hotel.
Yeah.
Loved the first 2 nights we were there. The third night, because we were oceanside, and the crashing of the waves was a bit much, don't you think? But the third night?
Yeah, I think there was like a storm that was coming through, the hotel was basically right on the water. There was a break wall, there was a swimming pool, a break wall, and the ocean.
Right.
And it was incredible. I remember going out. I don't know if you did, Nesh. I went outside that night in the dark on the beach with that crash. I thought, I could get swept away and no one would even know, where I went. But it was so powerful. It was quite intimidating, I'd say.
Yeah.
That water can be quite intimidating at times.
Yeah, it's big. Yeah. It's big. I'm going to try to find that recording. And because it's a recording that Minnie did on the of the ocean, right?
Oh, is this the one in Kawaii? Yes.
Yeah. I'm going to try to find it. I put it on my desktop, and the BeLive screen is covering it. And I was going to try to put it in a place where I could actually get my hands on it.
Yeah.
Oops.
I'd look for it, but you'd probably lose me.
Here, I know.
So you look for it. I'll talk about it. Mm-hmm. So I was there with a travel group to Kawaii, and we always go to the end of the Kana'ape Trail. It's where the road ends. In Kawaii, there's a road that goes all the way around the island except for one section because of the mountains. So you can go all the way to one end or all the way to the north end. And this is on the North Shore and in Ka'apa. And that day, I have never seen waves like this. It was like, in the Lord of the Rings movie where the water turned into the white horsemen and they were riding on top.
Right.
There were like white horsemen waves happening, coming into the shore. It was, of course, a swim hazard. There was nobody out there. There weren't even any surfers out there. That's how wild it was.
Wow.
That day, how dangerous it was, but it was so beautiful.
Mm. I did find it. Let's see if we'll hear it. Okay. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah. That was intense. That, that I don't know how the ocean creatures live in the ocean when they've got that going on above them. It's crazy intense, crazy intense. But
There is,
yeah.
when we talk about the sound of water, I think that there's a innate draw to it, right? Much like the drum, in a way, because
Yeah.
in utero, right, we hear the whooshing sound, and we're swimming in this amniotic fluid, listening to our mother's heartbeat, right? And so
Yes.
I think the draw to the sound of water and why a lot of people use that sound to fall asleep to is for that reason.
I think it's the first sound that we hear.
Mm-hmm.
The sound of water. We also hear, they say we hear the blood moving through our mother's veins too. So, that sound is our first sound that our ears, as they develop, hear. And so it's very primal and soothing,
Mm-hmm.
and womb-like, it's really pretty intense that way. Also, I was doing some research, and we associate the sounds of water with nature, and we associate nature with that feeling good vibe there.
Mm-hmm.
So we, especially the sound of rain, is very soothing, and you'll hear that in a lot of meditation videos and such, using the sound of rain. They did a survey where the sound of rain was one of the most calming sounds, and one of the most irritating sounds was the sound of a cell phone. I thought that was interesting.
Unless you have the sound of rain on your cell phone, right?
Yeah, there you go. But it was like, and we're like, don't ever get up with an alarm that's a blaring, noisy, beeping alarm. Like, you should have something soothing to wake yourself up to, because it's very jarring for your body. Your body goes into that protective mode. But with the rain, it goes into that soothing place. So I thought that was fun.
That's a good tip, isn't it? Because you got to stop and think. Just stop and think a moment. What is your alarm sound in the morning?
Yeah.
Right. Mine is harps, actually.
Yeah. Mine is like a cascading. So it's kind of like rain. But I hated the sound of, the old fashioned telephone rings. Like, you get that in the middle of the night. Well, that's one of the most jarring things. Or if, at a hotel, if you got on a wake up call and you didn't want to be on a wake up call. And so, yeah, set your cell phone alarms to water sounds. maybe you won't. Some people won't wake up though; they'll just go back to sleep.
In the old days, I used to have chirping birds. Except I realized when you sleep with the windows open in the spring, and the birds start to sing, you think it's your alarm.
So you're conditioned the wrong way. Yeah. Yeah.
So I had to change that. But the sound of water. What I love to be able to sit like under a covered porch when it's raining and close my eyes, and as you hear it hitting the roof or the leaves, and that kind of stuff. Yeah, that's the best.
Yeah. Yeah, Stefan, my son, and I used to sit out on our covered porch at the log home. And I mean, we would be excited if a thunderstorm was coming in, because we would, get popcorn and go sit on the porch and watch it come. It was fascinating because the rain would start really light, and then it would downpour, and then you get the whole, other show too. But wow, so much fun. And rain my husband would rather just be in the house and not witness that. So, there's kind of a preference there with how much storm you want to be part of.
Right.
Yeah.
I like it all. I like watching it roll in. I like sitting out there and listening to the rain and the thunder, and Yeah. You can tell. You can tell when it's time to move into a safer place.
Yeah,
Your body
yeah.
can feel it, right? Your body can feel it.
I was so pleased in Athens. I was doing I was planning on doing a forest therapy walk in the National Botanical Gardens across the street from our hotel.
Mm-hmm.
And one of the pluses for a forest therapy walk is if you have water. But I had never been there. I had no idea what I would find. I thought maybe I'll find a man-made fountain or something.
Mm-hmm.
I get there, there's this tiny little man-made creek, probably about 6 inches wide, that flowed through the whole park, like meandered. Someone had created it to meander through
Wow.
the whole park. And it gave that nice tinkling brookie sound, and it was perfect. And so many of the participants just hung out by that little stream.
Mm-hmm.
And that sound, because it's so soothing. And by that point in the trip, we all needed to just have some downtime and relax. As we transitioned from Italy to Greece, that was our first day, so it was perfect.
Oh,
But that water sound had a big impact on that forest therapy walk.
yeah. We actually have some pictures here. Did you want to show me those?
Sure.
Okay. Um,
You know, several of them are from Colorado.
yeah, which one would you like to start with?
There's a big water. Why don't you do the big river? There's a really big, I think I used it in the advertising too.
You mean this one?
Wide River.
Is that the one?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
That's in Glacier National Park.
Mm-hmm.
I was there 3 years ago. That was raging that day because they had a lot of rain and powerful. You know, as we talked about the ocean, this is a very powerful river.
Mm-hmm.
One that you wouldn't even want to be water rafting in unless you were very, very, adept at that. Yeah. But it had a full-size pine tree in it, and it was just spinning it around in circles in this one eddy. We were just watching, like a full-size tree.
Yeah.
Like a stick.
Yeah. Yeah. Isn't it
beautiful?
Amazing. It's just amazing when you think about how water can be so soothing and tranquil and, calming, right? And it's also everything on the other side of the spectrum, and that is the raging,
Right.
that is the flooding, that is the
Right.
crashing.
It's in excess. We talk about that in my feng shui teaching with the 5 elements. Professor Linwood, my teacher, would talk about there's 3 levels of water. Not enough water, where you're just a drip and you don't have enough. Water is about energy moving and flowing, and you don't have enough. It's like the dried up puddle. And then you have the middle amount that's just right. That's that meandering river, but you could still maybe wade across it, and but it's moving. It's moving forward. And then you have, like I just showed you, the raging river or the waterfall. That's too much, and that means your energy is expended too much. You're out there too much in the world. You're never home to spend that meandering time. Yeah, that's me. Right? No. So you're shooting for he puts it at like it's like 18, 36, and 99. He puts it at 36. This is where you want to be with your water element, and it's that meandering, easy stream.
Yeah. That kind of reminds me of this picture, Michelle. This is what one of my favorite places to be. I'll give it a solo first. This is actually near Baraboo, Wisconsin. It's in Parfrey's Glen, in the Baraboo Bluffs. And I took this back in 26, maybe 27. And there's this brook that babbles. It is to actually get into the glen, you have to. There's a bridge that crosses over it, and you kind of follow it all the way back down to a very small waterfall at the very end of the glen. But this picture reminds me of the peacefulness there, you know. Now,
Mhm.
this is one of those brooks, one of those small streams that is, that end up being one of those um, tranquil moments, right? But it has also been a raging river. That
Oh.
Glen has been flooded many times. There used to be that walkway. It was a boardwalk, sort of that kind of took you back through there, and
Mhm.
it was donated and made specifically for people with disabilities to be able to get back into the Glen. And it had been flooded at least 3 times and repaired twice. The last time it flooded, they didn't repair it. And
Mm.
once when we went did some drumming back there, the boardwalk wasn't there anymore, and it was really difficult
Yeah.
to get to the falls because of all the debris and
Yes, I remember that.
yeah, yeah. But it is one of my favorite places to go, and a lot of times I just sit there and listen to the water going over the stones as literally talking, literally talking. One of my favorite places.
Mhm. Yeah. Yeah, and you can see the moss on the rocks from the little bit of splashing of the water, but not too much water. So
No.
you'll get that moss look, which I love. I love all of that too. Yeah, it's gorgeous.
No. Would this be a good place to maybe talk about elementals, about water elementals and talking to the water? The water talks to us,
Sure.
right?
Yes. Yes. Um, yeah, the first time I actually saw a water elemental was in Kawaii, and um, there was a place where the rocks created kind of like a cove off the beach, so it was protected part of the at the end of the beach, and I was just looking in the water for these large lava rocks that are all over the beach,
Mm-hmm.
and um, I saw like a being, and I want to say clear being. It's really interesting. Water elementals look like water, but it showed a shape to me. A body. If it's almost like a small mermaid, if I was going to say what I saw, kind of fish person type
Mm-hmm.
thing. And not that like about the size of like a big carp. Not really huge like you think of a mermaid, but very see-through, very watery. Um, but I've also seen them, in the forest. I sense more than I see. They're almost like your fairy folk, but they're hanging out in the water. Um, they blend in together. The fairy folk and the water undines, hang out together, where the fairies are making their little places in the caves and in the mossy rocks and such, and then the undines are in the water, and they play together. So I felt and seen that. Like I said, I feel it and I sense it more than I visually seen like I did in Kauai.
Right.
But they're just always playful, especially the water. I call them undines, are very playful. And when you splash, like you're in the water and you're splashing, like they love that. They love it when humans like splash each other and play with water. Remember how you played? Remember when you were a kid and you saw some water and you just ran towards it and jumped in?
Yep.
They love that, and they love it when us grown-ups do that too. Bring our playful side out. So yeah.
One of the things that in Park Reeves Glen, I would take students back there and we would drum and spend time back there and connect to the stone people and to the water but when you're there, because of the way the water moves, it creates negative ions. And so you walk in and you're kind of tired sometimes, By the time you're leaving, you're feeling really good. You're feeling great. because of all the negative ions.
Yeah.
And I remember in many of the classes that I took back there on the way back, people would be playing in the water on the way back because that brook sometimes, that little stream, really was only maybe ankle deep or calf deep in a lot of places.
Right.
And so
Right.
some people were jumping stone to stone or literally walking in the water and jumping in the water and that kind of negative ions, they're good for us, right? And
Right. Especially with the waterfalls, you get a ton of them near a waterfall.
Yeah.
Really, really awesome.
I want to show this one picture here. It's a picture of actually the Mississippi. And this is taken from a friend of mine's cabin. She sometimes is in the chat room, Mary Anderson Fry, from their cabin. Their cabin is up on a cliff, much higher than the river. And sometimes you see the big boats going through the barges, sometimes going through. But the water is still flowing. You don't really hear it as much as you hear the things around it, like the birds. It's in the flight pattern for migrating birds. And so when we're talking about the sounds of water, many times I believe it also includes other relatives, like those who fly, and also the two-leggeds, because we're around water, we're drawn to it. So a lot of times you'll hear children playing, or here you might see like boats and that kind of thing. But I wanted to show the Mississippi because I only live in Florida,
That's right.
Yeah. Audio better.
Yeah. Yeah. And I grew up on a lake, and I'm thinking about the sound specific to a lake, like going out on the wooden dock in the morning and hearing the water kind of lap the posts of the dock or the seawall. Yeah. Or when you're in a boat, like a canoe, and you're slipping through the water and you hear it, the kind of slide and glide along the edge of the canoe or the boat or the we had a sailboat, and that was, there's just all different sounds of those kind of natural boats, even the paddle boat, with the churning of the water, and like a water wheel even. Yeah. So many different ways that water makes sound for us.
I know. I want to back up just a little bit because we said it, but we didn't really talk about it, and that is when water speaks to us. That we have the ability to be able to connect to the water and learn a lot from water, especially when it already talking like the babbling brook or the waterfalls,
right?
Falls, that's a lot of energy too.
Right.
What do you think about that?
Well, like in my Missing Nana book, when I wrote about Nana going to the water, and the child, going to the water because she's grieving her grandmother, and in the book, Nana says, take it to the water, take your emotion to the water, because water knows how to be with your emotions, how to help you when you have an overabundance of emotions or something that you want to release, something that you want to let go of. I think water is a perfect guide for that. She's very loving, giving, and kind of comes right to be with you in your emotions and helps you to feel them and release them. I would say. What about you?
Well, we talk about how, especially in feng shui, that water symbolizes our emotions, and you're right. That to be able to go to a body of water, to actually talk to it and to ask for assistance, right? In letting go of maybe a really intense, immense emotion that you're going through, because when we're like that, it's hard to make decisions. It's even hard to listen to hear our guides when we're like that. Um,
Mhm.
in the culture I grew up in, we give tobacco, and um, we use moving water sometimes to give
Mhm.
the tobacco and the water. When we name a child and give them their spirit name, um, we'll place the tobacco for that ceremony in preparation in the water, talking to the water and speaking that child's native name. And we believe
Mhm.
that the moving water, that all water is connected. And when you put it into the moving
Right.
water, that it travels around the world. And so you're announcing to the world this
Oh,
spirit's name.
yeah.
Yeah,
Wonderful.
yeah. Or
Beautiful.
or if you are going through an emotional time, grieving somebody's passing, somebody's walking on, or going through a divorce, or anything that has a really big emotion attached to it, that you can give tobacco and put the tobacco into the water, and ask
Mhm.
in dealing with this immense, intense emotion. And so, yeah,
Yeah.
I really haven't thought about that in quite a while. And so, in preparation
Mhm.
for the show, I thought, how many times have I given tobacco in the Wisconsin River? And and here I would have to travel to either direction. It's going to be a ways, at least an hour, maybe 45 minutes to get to a really big river to
Wow.
be able to do that. But we have
Wow.
smaller streams here, so and they meet in confluences. When a couple of rivers come together or streams come together, and we have that nearby, near enough that I could actually go there to put the tobacco and the water there. God,
Hmm.
George is really out. He's on his back. Ears,
Puppy
ears are
sleep.
splayed out.
Aww.
Uh,
Gosh.
Here, I don't know.
So every forest therapy walk I do, if we are near water, I do a water blessing for the water as well. I take that opportunity, like you said, all water is linked to all the water in the world. So taking that opportunity to, we use Dr. Emoto's words, I love you, I honor you, and I respect you.
Mhm,
And I'll have participants hold their hands over the water
mhm.
and feeling the energy of the water. Before you put your hands in the water, it's like feeling the water's aura. There's an aura there if you take the time to really pay
That's it.
attention to that.
Yeah.
So I have them hover over and they connect with the water's aura first and do this blessing.
Mhm.
And it's very meaningful and profound for a lot of people, very moving. And then sometimes we sing to the water because, like you said, the water sings to us. And so there's certain songs that I'll sing with the group to the water as well. And then we usually start splashing each other and have fun too. But to play with the water. But you're right, to speak, to sing, to release.
Mhm.
Um, Water is a beautiful element to um, utilize and to respect and honor.
That's right. That's right. You reminded me of in the Ojibwa culture, and actually, I want to say Ojibwa, Potawatomi, and Ottawa. They have water ceremonies, and the water ceremonies are led by the women, and yeah, and so they usually do the water blessing down by a lake or a river, and yeah, it's good stuff.
Ah. So we've got Tony Gould on, and we have Rob. Rob is here too. Rob Kendall.
Kendall, hello there, and Tony. Which Tony?
Tony's listening. Tony Gould. Tony's listening. She is recovering from some health issues. So I'm so glad you're doing better, Tony. I heard from Hillary that you're doing so much better. That's great.
We have a message here from Elise. She's saying, feeling sad I won't be here this weekend.
Aww.
Elise,
Yeah, we are too.
we were, yeah, we were all kind of bummed, weren't we, Elise? All bummed out together. Yeah, Elise is referring to a class that Minnie and I are teaching this weekend. And I have the promotion. We'll talk about that closer to the end of the show. So, yeah, I was wondering, there was a picture here that I thought there was probably a story behind it, if I can find it. Um, on this one. It's one of your pictures. Love that.
Yeah, that is just from the recent visit to Colorado. That it's that trail that I was walking alongside the river almost the whole trail. We were actually the end point, or our destination was called Bridal Veil Waterfalls.
Oh.
But then there's these little surprise secret waterfalls that you don't expect on the way that don't have names. But it was so fun just to go down by the water and put your hands, you put your feet in the water there where it's really shallow, but then you have the sound of the waterfall. They're a perfect place to have lunch. I just wish I was back there right now. I can hear it. It's so wonderful.
Well, I saw this picture and I thought, oh, it's one of those places you just want to experience. You want to go there.
Yeah.
I could see those big rocks next to the fall, listening to the water, drumming with it. And,
right.
Yeah. Loved it.
Ooh, that would be fun, drumming with it. Ooh.
When you sent me the pictures, to decide for the promotion, it was a hard decision to make. It was a hard decision. But I liked them. I liked them all. Here's another one.
I have a lot of water. Now that's a very small. That stone is maybe 12 inches high to the left of that waterfall. That's I call them fairy falls. They're just along the trail. Sometimes there's just a little board that goes across, so you can get across the trail, and the little waterfall will be like to your right.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm taking photographs of them all the time because I feel the nature spirits in them. So yeah, that's a fairy falls.
I ran out of time this morning. I was looking for a recording that I did when we were in Ireland on that last trip with you. And I think it was in what was the name of that place? Glendalough? It's the one
Glendalough, yep.
Near Dublin. There was that trail between the hotel and the store that everybody stopped at.
Yes.
And along the way there were these small river or waterfalls and brooks, little stream.
Yeah.
And I stopped and did a recording. And do you think I could find that recording? I know I have it, but where did I file it? Where did I file it?
Ireland had some pretty magical water and rivers. Sometimes for me, taking photographs of the rivers in Ireland, the water would almost look like black. It would be because it would be in the shade. It would be dark, and then you have all that green, all those layers of green, but with that black water, just beautiful.
I know. Beautiful. And the one waterfall, it's in one of the parks there. I don't think it was on our tour. The one with you. Actually, when my friend Phil, who's from Dublin, took me there. I think it was the first trip I was there. It was one of the prettiest places I'd been in a really long time. And it was a waterfall, and the sound that it made, the sound. I actually sat on the rocks, put my feet in the water, and sat there and with the waterfall. That was my first visit to Ireland. Here's something that looks up onto it. We have a quote here that you found by.
I love the sounds and the power of pounding water, whether it's the waves or a waterfall. Yeah, I think about Lake Michigan. You know, it's kind of our like mini ocean here, but we can get that pounding water happening.
Mm-hmm.
There's a kind of a water ritual that I've done with students before when we've been at Lake Michigan, or you can do it at the ocean too. We did it in Hawaii. I did it in Hawaii too with a travel group, where you stand in the water where there's a lot of waves, lots of sound, and you, as the waves recede, you release what you want to release in your life. And then as the waves come in, you ask for the abundance that you would like in what you would like to receive. So you release and you receive with the waves. And you want to stand up in the waves like above your knees so you can really feel the pull of that, but not get knocked over, So there's that balance place. But to really feel the power of it coming in and going out. Is really an incredible exercise to do in when you have big waves. Yeah.
But that reminds me of one of the times Paul and I were at Door County in Wisconsin. It's up in the peninsula, near Green Bay, and we usually stay on the bay side when we would go on vacation up there. And then one time we stayed on the lake side. Completely different energy.
Yeah.
Even with the people, completely different energy. On the lakeside, the waves. And at first, it was again, the lapping waves helped me go to sleep, right? And then it got windy. It was like the wee hours of the morning, windy, and it was no longer lapping waves but crashing waves. And the door that led to the backside to the lakeside wasn't tight enough in the door frame, and so every time the wind came, it would kind of rattle. Now, do you think that either Paul or I would get up and put a chair up against it or something?
No, and just let it wake you up all night.
We'll just let it rattle. Oh my gosh. Things you
that reminds me, one time we were in Cape Cod. We were staying at a friend's cabin on a remote peninsula, like across the bay from Cape Cod, actually. In their family's old heirloom cabin that'd been there like 100 years. It was really fun. But, it was on a bay on the ocean and beautiful views. And we had dinner and we went to bed. And, there's a big dock out to the bay. And in the middle of the night, I'm hearing water. And I'm hearing it like, it's like right up against the house. What's leaking, honey? There's something leaking. Something's going on. And we go out and the tide had come in and we didn't know the tide came all the way up to the house. I mean, we're talking about the siding on the house is lapping, and then, in the morning it would be out and gone. And you're like, no, I was like hearing that. What was that? I mean, if you don't know about tides very well, like we had no idea. Wow. That was a learning experience.
Well, the way that water moves, right? It goes to the lowest point, correct? When it flows.
Right.
And so when I was preparing for the show, I was thinking about how the Great Lakes, how it drains, and I was wondering, there's waterfalls, I'm sure. I haven't been to any of them, but I'm sure there's waterfalls at each one of the lakes. And the sound that it might make as it's draining, it kind of reminds me of those fountains that have the cups at a certain, and you can hear it, the waterfall.
Mm-hmm.
That's what it kind of reminds me.
What's interesting is that our Meyer Garden here in Grand Rapids, our Meyer Garden, they have in the children's garden, they have a fountain that's shaped. It's actually a water playing pools for the kids, about 2 feet off the ground, and it's all the Great Lakes, and it's built by elevation of the Great Lakes. So it flows down, like you said, and they can have boats, get little plastic boats. And so you can get a whole lesson in how that flows, Neshi. You'll have to come visit, and we'll go see that sometime.
It seems to me I'd been there. Was I there with you? I practically lived in Michigan for like 3 years.
We might have gone. We might have gone sometime. But that's a fascinating. I love that part of the children's garden.
Yeah.
That was
You know, and how it drains. It's really important because, you know, our bodies replicate Grandmother Earth's, right? So what her body does, our body does. And so the water is her blood. That's how we believe. And so the drainage piece, that's like our sinuses, right?
Oh yeah. Yeah,
and the kidneys, right? Or the liver, where you have the
and as Elise said, the first sound we hear in the morning when we get up, the releasing of the water too. I love that. Yep.
Oh, that was funny. Hey, Marcia's with us. Hello.
Marcia's here. Hi, Marcia.
Good to have you with us. You also have another quote here. Let's bring that one up. This one's a little bit harder to see. The best shot we got.
Well, the picture of the waterfall didn't show up. But within a waterfall, the sound of a pine forest, 1,000 years old. This was right next to a really large waterfall photo. And I thought about that because, you know, how water echoes or resonates sound. And so all the sounds of the forest get amplified, I guess, by the water. And so the sounds of a pine forest for 1,000 years are in the water too. I love that. I love that idea.
Yeah, I do too. And because water takes on the shape of the container, right? Then when you're adding, no wonder why when Dr. Emoto worked, right, speaking into it, or when we sing to it, and the frequency of that song, then it remains in the water, right? That is so cool. I love that.
It's sound and it resonates. Yeah.
Yes, it does. So we have about not quite 10 minutes to go in the show, and I wanted to ask you a question about when. We all know that you're the lady with the feng shui. Between the two of us, you have the most experience with feng shui and water. When we're talking about replicating the sound of water in our homes, right? Whether we're using actual fountain. Do you remember back in the 90s when water fountains were like all the way?
Yeah.
Do you remember that?
Yeah, I miss them. They all dried up. They all got clogged with calcium. Yeah. Yeah.
And that's true. The maintenance of them really became a job. What is your perspective of why we want to bring a fountain into the home? And you know, somebody's going to ask it, where's the best placement for it?
Well, the best placement for water is the career area, because it's your life's path journey. Remember, we talked about that meandering stream, that number 36 that you're shooting for in the amount of water that you have. So even photographs of water in your career area. Your career area is usually the middle. If you're facing your house, it's the middle of your house. If you're facing your front door along that whole wall, it's going to be in the middle section of your house. And a lot of times our front doors are in that position as well. But even artwork of water, the color black, we talked about that black water in Ireland, that the color of black are really deep, dark purple is a watercolor. But if you're going to put a fountain, if you're going to put a fountain outside your house, a lot of people, a lot of businesses will put a fountain outside. Think about hotels that have big fountain right outside the front door in the center, right? That's a feng shui placement. But if you have a fountain outside your front door, you don't want the water all flowing away from your house. You want the water to either flow in a circular pattern, like you see in those hotel fountains a lot, or you want the water to flow toward the building because you want all that energy of abundance, which is another symbol for water, coming and energy and life force coming into the house. So that's the one key is you want to make sure if you have a fountain outside, you don't have the water going away from the house.
Now that is a huge key, a huge tip, audience. It really is, because here in the West, generally, when you have a fountain that's flowing like that, we want people to see it as they come up the driveway or come up the walk. And so it's flowing away from the house. You want to turn it around. You want the water flowing toward the house.
Right. I had that in one of my houses. I placed the fountain against the base of a tree facing the house, but you could see it when you walked up. But it faced the house, so you've got to get it away from the house a little bit, usually out in the yard somewhere, and then you'll get to see it and have it do the feng shui work you'd like it to do.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. That was a big tip. And with the fountains in the house and the sound, it's that moving water, right? And way to bring in.
And aquariums will do that too. They'll have that sound. If there's a pump and water flowing in the filter, you'll get that sound with an aquarium too. And the water element.
I wonder how many people in our live chat have water like that in their homes, whether it's in an aquarium or, not many people have fountains anymore, but if you do, yeah. Yeah, I don't have any fountains in my house right now, but I used to. In fact, I think I still have 2 downstairs in storage. Maybe I should break them out.
I know. I'm thinking about getting them out again. Yeah. But there is some maintenance. It's best to use like distilled water in them. Don't use your tap water because of the minerals. That's something that we learned right away. And if you're going away, unplug it because it will dry up and kill the motor. Yeah. So, you just have to, it will evaporate. Yeah. Or you have a cat that drinks it. That was my other piece. That it was a wonderful cat watering bowl. They thought it was great, but then the water went down twice as fast. So, yeah.
Yeah, and then, you can always put crystals and stones in there, too, that are meaningful to you.
Yeah, they're beautiful because they're wet, right?
Yeah. So, in the last remaining minutes, I wanted to talk about a couple of things here. Let's talk a little bit about our class, because that's coming up fast.
Oh, it's coming up. I'm leaving tomorrow morning, yeah. Very fun. I got the sorting hat packed, yes.
Yeah. And
it's not too late to join us. We have lots of. I brought extras, extra handouts and everything. So.
And I'm pulling together the medicine pouch, medicine bag, personal, getting the pattern out and getting those cut for you so that we're not spending the time actually cutting with your skin, but actually having the pattern. So that you're spending time and stitching it together, and maybe if you have time putting some beadwork on it too. So that's what I'm doing this afternoon, finishing up that little piece. Mom is lending us needles and a couple of thimbles.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah. So we're getting in preparation for that. So it's this weekend. It starts Saturday. I believe that's the 22nd. And it runs through half a day on, actually we done mid-afternoon on Sunday. For those traveling, we tried to make sure that you were done earlier in the day so you could still make your way home if you're traveling to Wisconsin at the Star Nations Academy here, where I'm broadcasting from. So,
Yeah.
this is one of my favorite promotions. I love the picture. One of my favorite ones.
I do too.
Yeah.
I love it. And I love, just kind of creating that fun, playful energy of Hogwarts, even though we're learning very serious spiritual pieces this weekend. We packaged it in a very fun, joyous way of learning. And you're going to come away with so many great ideas, and and so many different avenues that you could explore even deeper.
Mm-hmm.
And I get to do some force therapy. I'm always happy about that. So,
and there's nothing wrong with having fun while you're learning, right? And actually, what we're teaching are the fundamentals. So you're getting a good foundation to build from. But also, if you've been around the block a few times, you've been around, you may have some gaps in your knowledge base that you might be able to fill those gaps this weekend. So, yeah, I can't wait. Can't wait. We're going to have fun. The other thing I wanted to share about is this. The magazine. The Star Nations magazine.
So beautiful.
I know. And actually, what came in the mail yesterday was this. It is print on demand.
Oh, it's so pretty.
Yeah, and I have to say, thank you to Marjorie Morrison for, well, first of all, taking the picture and then saying yes when I asked if we could use it on the cover.
Yes. And those colors, the purple and the black and the white and the green, those are some of my favorite color combinations together. It's exquisite. It's just perfect.
Yeah, and you've got some really good articles in there too. Your article about the Twin Sisters Challenge.
Yeah,
I
survived it.
It was a huge hike. It was all uphill too, except coming down wasn't uphill, right? But
yeah,
that was quite a challenge, and you met it. And what did you say at the very end of your article? The last line.
I did it.
You still got it. You still got it.
I still got it. Yeah, because I still do that all the time, and I just thought, oh gosh, you're 59 now. I don't, you just wonder, is this whole body done doing that, and but I had to see, and apparently I'm not. I mean, it took me a couple of days to recover from it. I will be honest. Stairs were not my friend the next day, but even the young uns are sore on that after that hike too.
Really?
So
a lot of Epsom salt going around, but
it was good. It was good.
Well, and it's an article.
And then you're out in Colorado and you're at that elevation and you can't, it's the oxygen part. Like, yeah, if I had an oxygen tank, I probably would have done a lot faster. Some people do hike with oxygen tanks now.
Well, it puts a whole different second wind, and so but that your article, I used it for the title on the cover because when people read that, there's so much more into it than just the making it to the top of the mountain as a personal challenge. It's really telling all of us that we, take the chance, give it a try. Because you could have tried.
Don't go into society's idea of what's old and what you can't do anymore. You're too old for that, or
right,
yeah,
yeah.
That's kind of where I was trying to. When you see 60, you're going, oh my gosh, I used to think that was old when I was young, but now you're here and you're like, okay,
not that
it's not. It's not that old.
Oh my gosh. So the magazine was published on September 10th. And so it's been out for a few days, 9 days. And it is available in digital for your iPhones and your Android phones, for your tablets. It's also available in the print on demand, and also PDF and web viewer. For those people who don't want to keep keep that their magazines and reading material on their hard drive, you can do the web viewer, and it's out there on the cloud. And all of that, but yeah, that is actually through our partners at MagCloud. And you have to create an account with them. It's free, but you can view the magazine on any laptop, desktop, your phones, your tablets when you're doing PDF or web viewer. So yeah. So I don't know. I really liked doing putting together that particular issue. It was fun. It was fun, and we've already started working on the October issue. So wait for that cover. It's gonna be a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, there was something else I was gonna say. Oh, I know. We have to wish happy birthday to my sister-in-law, Angelica Lokotz. Happy birthday! Today is her birthday. She is the Adobe InDesign wizard for yeah, she's the one who creates the covers and also the version of the magazine for the print and also the iPad. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's her
Happy birthday, Angie. Awesome.
Yeah. Yep. She's been my sister-in-law for 40 years. Oh my gosh.
Whoa. Wow.
Yeah, it's been long. We've known each other for a few years. Well, what do you say? What parting words? We're at the very top of the hour.
I'd say go find some water and have a conversation. Go listen and see what it might have to share with you, or go share with some water, something that you'd like to heal. She's a wonderful healer. Wonderful healer.
Yeah. And my parting words is, water is Grandmother Earth's blood. It's sacred. And when you're at the water, when you're with her, is also to be appreciative, to thank her for all that she does for us. Whenever you take a glass of water, just know that you're taking her into your body. Loving you and her.
Yeah.
There you go. Wait, here we go. Here's our water.
Okay, here's to Mother Earth and her water. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you for your life sustenance.
Yeah. And thank you all who are in the chat and with us this afternoon. Thank you so much. And those who will be watching the recorded live stream, thank you for being with us.
Yes.
And we'll see you next
Thank
month.
you. Yes. Thank you for being here, and thank you for sharing our show.
Absolutely. So we'll see you next month, October 3rd Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern time.
3 o'clock Eastern. Yep.
Enjoy the rest of your day, and we'll see you next month. Goodbye, everybody.
Bye, everyone.